Ron Vaccaro here at Mory's with Casey Gerald. And Casey, we just heard from Coach Jack Sidlecki, and he said that you were one of the poster guys for what being an Ivy League student athlete's all about. And that encompasses both terms, student and athlete, on the football field, in the classroom, socially, and being a campus leader. Let's start with the football first, because we don't want to tackle it all at once. And on the field, you've been a 3-year starter in the defensive secondary and have gritted it out at times and been a big playmaker and leader for the team. What has the experience been for you on the field, being part of that defense, and your group has played together for really a long time?
Well, the thing about it is we've played together for so long, and we started at such a low point personally. You know, we had no experience. We had no clue what we were doing. We were just out there really flying around. But over time, we not only helped one another grow, but watched one another grow. And I think that was one of the funnest things that we could have done, and definitely one of the most amazing things that I've experienced at Yale, and definitely as an athlete, to see yourself grow as a football player and see the guys around you grow at the same time, and then to see those results produce wins. You know, that's obviously the only way that this thing is fun at the end of the day, if you're winning. So it's been an amazing journey that we've taken, and we've still got a lot of work to do to grow and to produce those wins.
A preseason survey of your teammates had them vote you the best leader other than the captain on the team. Talk about that captain, Bobby Hebert. He's also been one of those anchors of that defense. What's it like to play with Bobby?
Well, Bobby's and my relationship is actually pretty funny. Our first encounter was actually a fight our freshman year, and actually it was me, Bobby, and Larry got in a little melee there as freshmen. But that's the type of mentality that we've taken these past 3 years. That's the type of intensity that Bobby brings to a team. But at the same time, he knows that he can make fun of himself sometimes, and we can make fun of him, and back and forth. So playing so much with Bobby, you know that you can depend on him to be where he needs to be and to make that extra effort. When he's given all that you think he has, he gives some more. And so it's an amazing thing to play with someone like that, because it really does make you dig down and say, how much more can I give? And he asked that of us, and we asked that of him, and it works pretty well. And then those times that he just starts yelling, we sort of tune out a little bit, but he's great.
You talk about that and on the field, and let's transition to the classroom a little bit, and being really a true candidate for the Rhodes Scholarship. I know you're getting sick of hearing this question asked of you recently, but what does that really mean to you, that you're got a shot at that?
Quite honestly, I look at the Rhodes somewhat like I looked at Yale. Got into Yale, and I didn't really know what was going on. I felt pretty good about it. But then you go to church, and old ladies are crying, and you go to school, and people are clapping for you. It meant so much more to other people than it could have ever meant to me. And it's the same thing with the Rhodes Scholarship. Of course, it means this transformational opportunity for me to go from where I began as a kid from inner city Dallas to be among some of the most brilliant people in the world at Oxford, studying and exploring and exposing myself to the best that the world has to offer. But on a very fundamental level, it does represent for me an opportunity for kids who grew up and who are growing up in situations like those that I did, and those people who are working to get those kids out of those situations, say that this work that we're doing is worth it, and that I can take my life from wherever it started and make it wherever I want it to be. But it's going to take a tremendous amount of hard work. It's going to take determination. It's going to take grit, and it's going to take a lot of blessings, honestly. And I've had those things, and so the Rhodes Scholarship represents an opportunity for me, but even more, it represents a message to the people that have invested in me, and the people that hopefully I can one day invest in.
You didn't know much about Yale when Yale first came looking at Casey Gerald down in Dallas. You obviously learned a lot about Yale making the decision to come here, but I'm imagining learned even more since coming here. So what has that experience been like, and what have you learned from Yale?
I was saying the other day to somebody that you look at Yale as a university, but that university title, that education title, sort of sells itself short. Yale is so much more than a college. It's so much more than an educational experience. It is a life-altering experience. At least it has been for me. The most impressive thing about Yale that I've experienced is that I haven't met two of the same people in 3.5 years. Every single person that I've met has been different, has been unique in their own way, has brought a level of passion, a level of interest and intellectual curiosity that I just have not found anywhere else in the world. And I think the investments that Yale makes in those students and in those faculty members in this community is unparalleled in terms of churning out the very best that a student has to offer, not only to himself but to the world. And that, to be able to say that I can relate to those people, coming from a place where I didn't feel that I could relate to too many people here at Yale, it's amazing to be able to sit at the table and say, I know guys that do this, that do that, or I know women that one day will be, prime minister of XYZ country. I mean, that's just an amazing thing to say, and know that you can, communicate with them in their own language. It's pretty amazing.
You've obviously put a lot of time on the football field and in the classroom. You're also, in addition to going for the Rhodes Scholarship, you're a semifinalist for the Dratty Trophy, which is the academic Heisman in college football. But you've also invested a lot of time and personal energy in some activities on campus, the Black Men's Union being foremost among them. Talk about that and what that commitment has meant to you.
The Black Men's Union, honestly, is just one of those chance opportunities that almost never happen, and the opportunity presented itself, and we say, there's this lack of support. You look at graduation rates at Yale, and you look at the black male graduation rate, about 92%. Well, that's 6 percentage points lower than the general graduation rate, 5-6 percentage points. That's unacceptable for a place like Yale. That dream that is Yale has to live up to the reality that it becomes. And I think there are definitely things that we can address on that level. But also, I think from an organizational standpoint, the BMU has tried its best and is constantly working to not be simply a cultural organization. Yes, we're a black men's organization, but we're not that to self-segregate or to self-isolate ourselves. We're a black men's organization because that experience is unique, but it does relate on a fundamental level and on a much larger scale to a lot of other experiences, whether they be experiences that aren't black, or experiences that aren't male. And so it's our responsibility to connect ourselves to that larger conversation and to build these intercultural and inter-community relationships, because that's what's going to make the changes that we need to make to the Yale community, to New Haven, to America, and on a larger scale to the world. We have to realize that we're much more connected than we ever thought we were, and that's the only way that we're going to do the work that we need to do.
All right, well, let's close with football the way we began this. And how the heck did you play in the Yale-Harvard game in '06, as beat up as you were, and wearing extra equipment on you and everything?
Honestly, I still can't tell you how I did it. And really, to be honest with you, Coach Reno is sort of like a dad to me. And I just felt that he wasn't even considering me not playing. And so for someone to know that, you've got this broken hand, that the doctor's saying you should be in surgery right now, but they still are sure that you're going to play, for him to have that confidence that I could play, really said, one, that I have a responsibility to my teammates on such an occasion as being able to beat Harvard, who we utterly despise, and also win a championship, which is something that we came to do, but also to live up to those expectations that my teammates and that Coach Reno have of me and had of me at that time. It was a great challenge, and I think it was definitely one of the defining moments in my life to say that, the odds are against you in this one. Go out and see what you can do. Granted, it took a lot of help from a lot of people, from putting on my shoulder pads, putting on my helmet, and taking off my helmet. It was definitely a team effort to have one guy play. But that's the type of team effort that wins championships, and hopefully, that's just a microcosm of the type of efforts that we've had from multiple guys over the past couple of years that have made us successful.
All right, well, Casey Gerald, we look forward to watching your final 5 games in the Yale uniform.
Thank you.
All right, that's Casey Gerald.